afternoon and welcome back to Football League World TV. It's a fresh week and we're going to be looking back at the EFL weekend just gone with our two winners, two losers show. My name is Sam Rourke, the chief editor of footballleague.co.uk. I'm joined by Marcus Ali, my colleague here on the website, to run through the two winners and two losers. Marcus, how are you getting on this afternoon?
Yeah, very well. Thank you, Sam. Always tough to whittle it down just to two winners and two losers with the great storylines that we get week in, week out in the EFL. But now excited to be on once again.
Yeah, absolutely. We are broadcasting live on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. So get yourself in the comments. Who are your winners? Who are your losers from the EFL weekend just gone? We do want to hear from you. As ever, we're going to start off with the winners. Okay, Marcus, who impressed you this weekend in the EFL? Who is your first winner?
So first off, it's West Bromwich Albion, a 5-2 win at home to Hull City, really releasing the shackles in a result that it has felt like has been coming for quite a long time at the Hawthorns, almost hanging over from last season. We've seen the performances that they've put in so far this season, and there has been sort of a greater volume of chances created than the goals that they've been able to put away. So, albeit with some sort of low probability efforts, it's not every week Darnell Furlong's going to be scoring from 25 yards and Dara O'Shea popping up with a goal and an assist. But a result that really lifted the pressure for West Brom, and one that I can see them building on in the next few weeks. Obviously, the fifth game of the season, heading into it, the Baggies yet to pick up a win in the Championship, and there was very sort of mixed emotions over the Steve Bruce appointment heading into the campaign. So really important victory for them, and the scoreline can only boost morale. They did concede two soft goals to Estepinian in the second half, but they're 4-0 up and 5-1 up at the times that those goals go in. So I'm taking that with a pinch of salt as well. And Grady Diangana, a huge plus for the Baggies, slowly getting up to the speed and the levels that we saw from him the last time the Baggies won promotion to the Premier League. Definitely a player that could be really crucial for them against maybe the sides sort of in the bottom half of the Championship this season. The types of games that West Brom are going to need to win if they are going to really throw themselves into that top six picture. So going into the day, there was a bit of pressure on West Brom, and it seemed up in the air how they would do, considering how strong the Tigers have started. But a win that in the early season table now has them just 2 points off the top six will definitely have sort of eased fans' minds a lot.
Yeah, certainly a resounding win for the Baggies at the Hawthorns on the weekend. Goals from all over the pitch, like you say, Swifty scoring, Grant, O'Shea and Furlong all on the score sheet. So are you confident West Brom can kick on from this victory? You know, it's been a pretty underwhelming start on the whole for West Bromwich Albion, but that win on Saturday could sort of give them that boost of optimism they need. Are you confident they can kick on now, Marcus?
I think so. I think it's about time. I've made it clear sort of my thoughts on the Steve Bruce appointment and where that kind of ranks them in the division. But their summer recruitment is undeniable, really, and the quality of it. So I don't think that group should be competing anywhere below really the top 6, 7, 8 places in the Championship, and well, they're not quite there yet. So no, I can see them building on it in the coming weeks. I think they've got Huddersfield and Wigan away in their next couple. So yeah, yet to pick up a win on the road, but definitely opportunities too in those couple of fixtures. So no, a huge win for their confidence, morale of everyone associated with the club really, and yeah, definitely a pleasing one in an attacking sense for Bruce.
Yeah, certainly brings Shota Arveladze's Hull City back down to earth after what's been an impressive start from the Tigers. Well, there we go. Marcus opting for West Bromwich Albion as his first winner of the EFL weekend, as they recorded an impressive 5-2 win over Hull City at the Hawthorns. Baggies fans will be hoping they can kick on from this. Let us know in the comments your thoughts on Marcus' selection of West Brom. And also, have you got any winners you feel deserve a mention from the EFL weekend just gone? Right, let's look at our second winner. Okay, Marcus, who have you gone for as your second winner from the EFL weekend?
So one of the surprise packages of this opening quintet of fixtures is Reading Football Club, a 1-0 win over Middlesbrough, something that the bookies' odds suggested going into the season would be a top versus bottom of the table clash. It's completely the opposite way round after just 5 games. 3 wins from 3 at home in the league for Reading is a really impressive start. Tyrese Forner on loan from Nottingham Forest, a player who some supporters might have had concerns about whether he was ready to slot in as a first choice player in the Championship heading into this season. It's kind of helped him from a development point of view, and certainly from Forest's point of view, that he's been thrown in at the deep end really, but he's starting to show some really promising signs. A great hit from him, sort of making its way through a crowd of players, and Zach Steffen didn't really get down to it in the end, but a great strike from just outside the area. So a really pleasing result for Reading. Has them third in the table after 5 games, same points as Watford at this stage, and it's been a really impressive week as well. It sort of just tops it off after that sort of very disappointing result at Rotherham United last weekend. Not much was expected from Reading heading into this fixture, and I think it's a result that, despite Borough not performing very well at the start of the season, one of the sides, just 2 I think in the Championship, yet to pick up their first victory, it's definitely a result that I think will age very well over the course of the season, and really fuels belief amongst the Reading fan base that they are heading in the right direction under Paul Ince.
Yeah, a shed load of optimism amongst the Reading fan base at the moment after 2 really impressive victories in midweek against Blackburn, and of course on Saturday against Borough. Lots of Reading fans really impressed with the intensity and the high press that Paul Ince is deploying at the team right now. It's certainly a stark contrast to what we saw in that shocking defeat, really, to Rotherham at the New York Stadium a few weeks back. Shouts out to Mamadou Loum and Tyrese Forner. You mentioned Forner there, Marcus. He's really impressing in the second tier with Reading as well, which is good to see. Mamadou Loum looks a hell of a signing for Paul Ince's side on loan from Portuguese side Porto. Looks a real beast in the middle of the park, it's got to be said. Well, there we go. Marcus opting for Reading as his second winner of the EFL weekend. Just finally then on Reading, before we move on to the losers, they face 2 tough away games next. Millwall on Saturday and then Sheffield United on Monday. 2 tricky away games for them. Their away form has sort of let them down a little bit so far this campaign. Are you optimistic from a neutral's perspective that Reading could get some points in their next 2 games, or not so sure?
Well, I think the Millwall one is a really interesting test. I've not been completely convinced by the Lions so far this season. I think relying on some comebacks in a very small sample size. I don't think they've been quite as impressive as they were maybe at the back end of last season, and considering that the confidence that Reading are playing with at the moment, and the defensive organisation that they showed with sort of back-to-back clean sheets this week, should stand them in good stead to be very competitive at the Den. The trip to Bramall Lane is a tough one, really. I think that's one you go into sort of treating anything as a bonus. I think a point would feel like a win in that match, but it'd be interesting to see how sort of Heckingbottom side take that on, being such overwhelming favourites as they probably will be for that match, regardless of how Reading get on at Millwall. So a tough couple of fixtures. I think a point at Millwall, and then it's probably a defeat at Bramall Lane. I think picking up a point at Millwall will be seen as a very good point, and as you mentioned, rightly, to get them up and running at least on their travels is important sooner rather than later.
Yeah, for sure. We've had a comment come in from Coaster Chow on YouTube. Hi guys, Chow here, Doncaster Rovers fan. Nice win for us this week on both matches, Stockport and Salford. Don't know when we are beaten. Hopefully get over the wage demands and sign Kieran Freeman. It was a fantastic result for Donny at the Keepmoat on Saturday, beating lots of promotion favourites, Salford City, lots of pundits and fans alike tipping them to be in the promotion mix in League Two. 2 goals from Carl Hurst, a really impressive display from him for Donny. Keep the comments coming in. We want to hear from you. Who are your winners and who are your losers from the EFL weekend just gone? Right, we're going to move on to the losers next. Okay, Marcus, who is your first loser from the weekend?
So dropping down for League Two for this first one, and it's Crawley Town suffering a 2-0 loss at home to AFC Wimbledon, and a really disappointing performance once again compared to their pre-season expectations to potentially be involved in that promotion picture. Just one draw and 4 losses from their opening 5. Only scored in one of those games as well. I think the point coming in the form of a 0-0 draw. And yeah, 2-0 loss at home to, fair enough, a team that's only just come down from League One, but I don't think the Dons are expecting to be right up competing for automatic promotion this season. A little bit of needle in the match as well. A small rivalry kind of developed between Crawley and AFC Wimbledon in their National League days. So definitely a disappointing one for long-term fans to see them come back and win quite simply in the end. Nathan Young-Coombs looks like an excellent signing for the Dons on loan from Brentford. Keeps being in and amongst the goals and assists, yet developing a really exciting partnership with Josh Davison. But it was an afternoon that really didn't go to plan for Crawley. Tony Craig getting sent off in the second half, a really experienced player at the heart of that back line. It'd be interesting to see how they get on without him in their next match. Moving on to that, it's Rochdale away. So that feels like an enormous match, even though it's only the 6th of the season for a rookie manager in Kevin Betsy to well, you'd at least hope for a point there. Otherwise, a defeat would see them be rock bottom of the table. So yeah, another poor performance. It's not like, despite us having greater expectations of them heading into the campaign, the performances haven't been much better than the results suggest. They really did create precious little, and it's starting to feel like something of an early test of Wagme United's patience. Are they going to stick with their appointment? It was an ambitious one, plucking Betsy from Arsenal under-23s management job, I think, which is a very nice position to be in at this stage of his coaching career. So there seems to be a lot of uncertainty at Crawley at the moment, considering they just haven't lived up to expectations, and it was another concerning display at the weekend.
Yeah, pressure certainly mounting on Kevin Betsy at the Broadfield Stadium, it has to be said. I suppose a lot of Red Devils fans will be hoping Don Telford rekindles his goal-scoring form from last season. He has been injured in the opening advances of this League Two season, but did come off the bench on the weekend. But yeah, it's been a tough start for Crawley Town. They find themselves in the bottom 2 alongside winless Rochdale. Right, let's look at the next loser next. Okay, Marcus, who's your second loser from the EFL weekend?
So sticking in League Two, the second loser is Rochdale, the only side in the EFL to have lost all 5 of their opening outings, and it was a really disappointing trip to Swindon Town at the weekend. They lose 3-0. I was on the weekend preview, and I predicted Dale to get something out of this. I thought the sacking of Robbie Stockdale could have potentially triggered something in the dressing room. They do have a nice sort of cohort of senior players for the level, but it was another pretty abject display, to be honest. They concede in the first minute an absolute nightmare start, even though they had their own kickoff. Just a bit of possession out the back, and a misplaced pass gets finished off by Wakelin for Swindon. A really much needed win for them after some concerning performances, given the high standards that they set last term. But it's really starting to look ominous for Rochdale already. As I said, I do think the squad isn't awful. It's the type of squad that, with the right appointment, they could be galvanised and could get themselves out of trouble. But yeah, with that match coming up soon, Crawley Town at home, it does feel enormous. If they lose that, 6 losses out of 6, they'd be sort of rooted in 24th spot. Then it would be looking pretty gloomy. I was looking for them this weekend to at least show some promise and compete with Swindon, who for me haven't been at it at the levels that they were last term. But yeah, they were nowhere near it. An absolute nightmare start, and they weren't really able to recover from it at the county ground.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen Robbie Stockdale lose his job already from Rochdale. Jim McNulty in interim charge at Dale at the moment. They've certainly got a lot of work to do over the next few weeks. It's been an incredibly sluggish start from Dale. The only team in the whole EFL pyramid yet to pick up a point. Work certainly needs to be done. Right, well, there we go. Marcus opting for Crawley and Rochdale as his 2 losers from the weekend. If you missed it, Marcus opted for Reading and West Bromwich Albion as his 2 winners. Do keep the comments coming in if you're watching this on repeat on YouTube. Right. Well, that brings an end to 2 winners, 2 losers here on Football League World TV. Marcus, as ever, thanks for joining me this afternoon on this show. We've got plenty more coming up on Football League World TV over the course of the week. So please do stay tuned to FLW TV on YouTube. If you haven't already, please do stick a subscribe in. It really does help us grow. And also, if you could like the video, it really is appreciated. But until next time, we shall see you soon.